Hey everybody, welcome back to Tech Odyssey. So today I'm here to talk about LG and some news that was in the market about them possibly getting rid of their handset division. Maybe they're going to quit making smartphones. And I think that's terrible because I like LG phones. I've covered a lot of them, the LG Velvet, the LG V60. I was really excited about the LG Wing, and they even have this rollable concept phone they say is going to come out in 2021. So LG has always been kind of trying to push the envelope in their own way to make these meaningful standout devices, and it just never really seems to get traction. So I can understand why, because they've lost over $4.5 billion on the handset division in the last 5 years. That is a huge chunk of change. It is. And we're going to talk about some of this stuff. But before we do, I do want to say if this is your first time stopping by the channel, I appreciate you being here. If you enjoy the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. Now let's talk about LG. Whenever you think about Android phones, of course everybody thinks about Samsung, but one of the other big topics of conversation is LG. LG has been making phones for a long time. LG was one of the first phones I ever had. I had my Nokia, and then I had my LG flip phone, and I totally loved it. Back in the age of early 2000, when flip phones were king and just really coming into prominence, LG made some outstanding devices, and I would only get an LG phone back then. I was like, look, I'm just getting LG, and then I moved on to BlackBerry when they came out. So they've got a long history in the world of making phones. Yes, they make TVs, they make air conditioners, they make all sorts of different appliances. They are a big electronics company. I've been saying for years, LG can continue to compete in the phone space because their other business is so successful. But at some point in time, you have to look at the hemorrhaging. $4.5 billion over 5 years. You have to look at something and say, look, the definition of stupid, some people say, is continuing to do the same thing and get the same result. This is very true in the business world, especially when you talk about the game of numbers. Why would you continue to do something when 90% of your business is so successful and the other 10% is bringing you down about $1 billion a year? That is huge. How do you continue to run that margin where you're losing so much money, especially whenever you're trying and it's just not working? So apparently there was a memo that leaked out. LG initially, I think they denied it and then came back and said, yeah, we're talking about this. And I think it makes sense. I think that they would have to be stupid not to talk about it. And I do like LG. I think that they make really good products in most cases. There have been hang-ups over the years, but largely they've got a following of people that really like their phones. I like them, and I think that they bring value. I think that they do a pretty decent job. Now, it seems like their identity has been shaken here a little bit over the last couple of years, and they're trying some new stuff. Clearly, the G series wasn't working. The V series wasn't working. So they tried this new thing. We're going to give phones meaningful names. We're going to create stuff like the Velvet and then the Wing. And now we've got this Explorer project. So I think that they're trying to be revolutionary here. They're trying to find the next big thing. They're trying to make something that people want to buy. And at the core of any business that makes products, what good are you as a company if you're not making products that people want to buy? Why continue to make them? So they're looking at this, and they have said in apparently the memo and also the news articles that I've been reading that they're trying to find a way to make this work. If getting out of the handset division is what makes sense, then they may do that. If staying in makes sense, but maybe reducing their footprint makes sense, maybe they'll do that. So they're looking at this, they're exploring what the best thing to do is for LG. And I think that's smart. And we've heard this before. There was a rumor that the G8 was going to be the last phone that they made. We heard rumors that the G7 was going to be the last one they made. I don't know. There's been a lot of them over the years where clearly the writing is on the wall. If the market looks at a company and sees that they're not doing good, obviously they've got to be having some conversations. Sometimes that stuff leaks out. This was an internal memo. It was not a news press announcement where they said, hey, we're not going to do this. That shakes market confidence. You can't say we've got a phone that's going to be coming out in a couple of months and then go like, we're thinking about not making phones anymore. That makes people not want to buy your stuff. BlackBerry hurt themselves badly when they did this. When they put themselves up for sale and then said, no, we're not for sale anymore. Well, that kind of eroded some of the confidence that the market and industries had, like the government sector, in continuing to have their services and phones. If you can't depend on them in the future, why invest in them now? Why would you buy a phone today that the company may not have the handset division anymore in a year? Sure, they've got to honor the warranty, but from a perception standpoint, that's not good. So that's what we have to look at now. I think that LG is still a very good brand. I think they make great products, and I think that some of their phones are really good. I totally love the V60, and it's terrible because it got really bad coverage. People from the get-go were calling it a mid-tier phone. I think they were revolutionary. They were the first ones that said, look, we don't have to have a Quad HD Plus display. We'll put a flagship processor in it, and we don't have to have a high refresh rate. And we'll sell this at a good price. We're still going to have great sound. We're going to have a great standardized 60 hertz refresh rate. It's not going to frame drop. You're going to get a great 32-bit audio experience. So they really made, I think, a good phone. And then they also added dual screen. So there's a lot of cool things they did there. And people hated on it from the get-go. And when it came around to the Note 20, they certainly didn't call it a mid-tier phone because it didn't have a Quad HD Plus display. It had a plastic back, for Pete's sake. So now you look at even the iPhone 12s, and all of them have 60 hertz refresh rates. Are they mid-tier phones? No. People don't look at them that way. So I think that LG gets an unfair gaze upon them whenever they put something out. It's like as soon as an LG product comes out, instantly it's scrutiny, and not just taking a look at it objectively and saying, okay, they did some good things here, they didn't do some great things here. It seems like because it's not Apple and it's not Samsung, already as soon as it's born, by virtue of existing, it's subpar. It's not good enough. They have to find a reason to say, hey, look, this is something you shouldn't get, or we don't like this. And I try to be as objective as possible when I look at stuff. If something's good, then say it's good. If something's not good, then say it's not good. It doesn't matter what brand it is. So I think that they're going to have to try and find a way to make something that really sticks. They got to find something that works. Because right now, they're not competing well. OnePlus is excelling in the US market. You've got Samsung, which has devices for everybody at every price point. You've got Apple, which is what everybody wants in the United States. Everybody wants Apple. And Apple has a lot of great benefits to it, and Samsung as well. So when you look at yourself, what is your identity? Where do you compete? And can you create a product that people want? I think those three things have to be addressed, and then you have to invest in it and put yourself out there. So I am glad that they're looking at this because it makes sense. This is something healthy that needs to be done that in the long term will either help them as a business because they're going to cut off a branch of their company that's causing them to lose $1 billion a year effectively, or they're going to say, hey, we're going to stay committed to this. We have phones in our DNA. We've been doing this for decades, and we can make something that works and make something that people want. So as long as they can do that, I fully support them. I hope they can continue to stay around and make phones, and we'll see what happens as 2021 progresses, and hopefully this rollable phone will still come out. I think that one's going to be a big head turner and an eye catcher. I think it looks neat, at least from the concept stuff that I've seen. So we'll have to see what happens, but I wanted to go ahead and make this video, talk about this, and let y'all know my thoughts when it comes to what's going on with LG and their handset division, and whether they're gonna, pack up their toys and go home. So that's all I've got. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down in the comment section. I will get back with you. If you enjoy the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.